There's no evidence that rock legends John Lennon and Elvis Presley ever actually met face-to-face in real life, but they've been linked together this week in the news in a bizarre footnote to history I'd like to tell you about. John was a neighbor of mine for 10 years. We lived in the same New York apartment building. I was there the night he was shot in our driveway, and I helped put him in the police car where he actually died on his way to the hospital after the 911 ambulance failed to show up in time to get him there itself. I was also one of the people he turned to at a time of great trouble when the Nixon administration was trying to deport him for drugs, and I wrote letters on his behalf, and finally the Justice Department dropped the whole thing, and he stayed in our building, and he remained a neighbor, and to thank me, he sent me a year subscription to TV Guide. Go figure. So I was more than mildly curious when the Supreme Court forced the FBI to release its secret files on John Lennon this week after a 20-year court battle. As you may know, those files revealed absolutely nothing but a lot of silly trivia. It was even reported in the good old gray New York Times. But what the Times did not report, and what you may not know, is that those files did contain the fact that Elvis Presley once applied personally to the FBI to become a spy so he could report on the whereabouts and activities of John Lennon, as well as Jane Fonda, the Smothers Brothers, and others he claimed were undesirable show business figures who have poisoned America's youth. Well, despite his 2-year service record in the Army and an honorary U.S. Marshal's badge, Elvis was completely thrown out. His request was thrown out. He was snubbed by J. Edgar Hoover, who was keeping a file on Elvis himself. The FBI accused Elvis of being an undesirable, too. So the moral of this little history lesson is that hypocrites may be everywhere, but the pot should be very careful the next time it calls the kettle black. This may all seem like ancient history to us now, but the beat goes on.